This is one of those products that has been around long enough that most people already feel like they know exactly what it is. A compact portable SSD from SanDisk. 2 terabytes of storage. Claimed speeds up to 1050 megabytes per second. USB-C connectivity. And a rugged exterior that looks like it was designed to survive real-world use rather than sit pretty on a desk. But in 2026, the real question isn't what the spec sheet says. It's whether this still deserves a spot in your setup today. Right out of the box, the design is instantly familiar. The same compact form factor, the same rubberized, rugged shell, and that no-nonsense industrial look that this lineup has been known for years. There's nothing flashy here. No glass finish. No ultra-thin engineering tricks. No attempt to turn storage into a fashion statement. Instead, it feels like something built with one clear priority: reliability. That textured exterior isn't just for looks either. It gives you grip, it protects against drops, and it makes the drive feel like it can handle being thrown into a backpack without a second thought. And that ruggedness is backed by an IP65 rating, meaning it can handle dust and water splashes. Not something you submerge, but definitely something that survives rain, spills, and rough travel conditions without much concern. Now performance is where expectations usually get interesting. On paper, 1050 megabytes per second is still a strong number for a portable SSD in this category. And in real-world use, it does feel fast. Plug it into a proper USB 3.2 Gen 2 port and you immediately get quick file transfers, smooth handling of large media files, and a clear upgrade over traditional hard drives or slower external storage options. For everyday tasks like moving 4K video clips, backing up large photo libraries, or transferring project files between devices, it feels responsive and efficient. Not mind-blowing fast, but consistently fast enough that you stop thinking about waiting. But like most portable SSDs, the full picture shows up under sustained workloads. When you start pushing very large continuous file transfers, performance can dip after extended use. Once the internal cache gets filled, write speeds may drop from peak levels. It's not something you notice in casual use, but it becomes more visible in heavy professional workflows involving massive datasets or long uninterrupted transfers. For lighter workloads or mixed usage, it stays mostly consistent and predictable. Thermals are also fairly well controlled. The drive does warm up under pressure, which is expected for something this compact and high performance. But it doesn't reach a point where it becomes unstable or unusable. It just quietly handles the workload without drawing attention to itself. And that's actually a good way to describe this SSD overall. Predictable. It's not trying to compete with the newest, fastest NVMe-based external drives on raw benchmark numbers anymore. There are newer options that outperform it in speed, efficiency, and sustained performance. But those often come with trade-offs like higher cost, more heat, or less proven long-term consistency. This drive focuses on something different. You plug it in, and it works. Across Windows, Mac OS, and even USB-C enabled devices, it behaves the same way every time. No setup process. No drivers. No compatibility issues. Just storage that shows up when you need it. And that reliability is something you only really appreciate once you've used drives that don't behave that way. Now the important context here is that this is an older model. So naturally, it exists in a market that has moved forward. There are faster SSDs now. Some smaller. Some more power efficient. Some significantly faster in sustained workloads. On paper, many of them outperform this drive. But what they don't always replace is the balance this one offers. It's fast enough for the vast majority of real-world use cases. It's durable enough for travel and field work. And it's simple enough that you never have to think about setup or compatibility. For photographers, students, travelers, and most content creators, that combination still makes a lot of sense. If your workflow involves heavy production pipelines, massive multi-terabyte transfers, or high-end video editing at scale, then newer and faster drives are absolutely worth considering. But for general creative work, backups, and everyday portability, this SSD still sits in a very comfortable zone. And that's why it hasn't really disappeared from relevance. It's not trying to win benchmark wars anymore. It's focused on something more practical. Staying dependable. No surprises. No complicated setup. No random disconnects. Just a drive that consistently does what it's supposed to do. So when you break it down, the conclusion is pretty straightforward. If you want the absolute fastest portable SSD on the market, this isn't it anymore. But if you want something reliable, durable, and consistently fast enough for real-world everyday use without overthinking it, this still holds up surprisingly well even today.